the Toronto stock market continue to generally move lower. Canopy Growth dropped another 1.6%, closing just below $26 per share. It's down 29% this year. What's going on with these stocks right now? Greg Taylor, Purpose Investments.
The earnings have not been able to meet the expectations of 6 months or a year ago. And I think what's adding to the pain right now is that we've got a lot of people that are looking at losses, and this is the classic tax loss selling for the sector, that people are giving up and trying to lock in their losses, also some gains they've had in other areas. So it could be a sector that you might want to look at later in December or January once that selling out of the way, and hope for a recovery after that.
Aurora shares were down 3 cents, $4.70. Wall Street was smoking hot. We had the Dow and NASDAQ notching record closes today on news that U.S. employers added a solid 128,000 jobs last month, better than expected. Figure would have been better if not for the General Motors strike. S&P up 29 points, 1%, a record 3,066. The NASDAQ gained 94 points. The Dow was up 300 points, 1.1%. The TSX up 110 points to 16,594. Price of gold down to 1,511 U.S. dollars. The loonie up at 76.09 cents U.S. This is 680 News.
Catch all the excitement of your favorite slots and table games at Casino Woodbine. Sign up for a free One Rewards membership today, and you could be eligible to get your first $250 on us. Need a lift? We've added new Toronto shuttle routes that will take you right to our front doors. Must be 19 plus. Rewards membership required. If you gamble, play smart. Casino Woodbine, Toronto's home for gaming and entertainment.
Find a car today, a much better way. Visit OntarioCars.ca. You'll have a smile that'll last a while, 'cause you're gonna find a car that'll fit your style. OntarioCars.ca is for you, with trusted sellers and great reviews. It's the easy way to find yours and save at Ontario Cars today. That's OntarioCars.ca.
Vancouver clear and 12 degrees. Edmonton, sun cloud 3. Ottawa, showers, flurries 5 degrees. St. John's, chance of showers, high of 16. Dallas, clear 10. Orlando, cloudy and a high of 22. A few clouds in downtown Toronto, 3 degrees at Pearson. For Laura Carney, I'm James Monroe. Have a fine weekend. 680 News Time, 7:30.
Number one for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Here are Scott Burnett and Christine Ritchie. Good evening. This is Friday, November 1st.
Here's what's making news right now.
Check this shit.
Now shows the chaos inside a frat house Halloween party where 5 people were stabbed. One suspect seeming to swing a switchblade at random.
It's the same old dream, getting a second NHL team in Toronto, but there's a new plan to make the dream come true. It includes a pro women's team and the biggest hockey arena in the world.
Paramedics, police, firefighters, and actors will take over Union Station this weekend.
Actors, more of this fucking fake police shit.
On steroids. So don't call 911.
Yeah, don't call 911 if you see a bunch of weird fucking soldier type shit.
When the cops fall back, as we say good night to daylight saving time.
It's a busy night in the NHL with 8 games in total. 3 of them are underway. Well, Denis Shapovalov has himself a day in Paris. Sports at 45.
A case of the shorts. A new survey reveals the average amount of money most Canadians have left at the end of the month. TSX jumps 110 points and Wall Street notches a record. Business at 56.
680 News Time, 7:31.
Time for traffic and weather. Together on the ones, here's Kyle Bucking.
This report brought to you by Alterna Savings. We've got now 2 problems on the major routes, 2 new problems. Westbound 401 approaching the 404 in the Express. Looks like 2 right lanes blocked for the collision here. Heavy approaching Warden Express to approaching the 404. Take the collector lanes through there. They're moving much better. And then volume from Yonge to Avenue Express and collectors. And the West 401 is busy approaching here Ontario and the collectors to Mavis. While we're on the subject, eastbound 401 is busy Winston Churchill to Mavis, east to the 410 to east of Dixie and the collectors. Still from about Dixon to the 400 Express and collectors. Then busy Avenue Express, Bayview collectors to Leslie, and really heavy into Scarborough, DVP to Kennedy and the collectors. Don't see a problem there, but it's quite slow. You'll find problems northbound 400, north of Finch. The right lane is blocked with a collision, so as you travel through this area, it's heavy north of Shepherd to north of Finch. Volume on the North Don Valley Parkway is approaching Don Mills to north of Lawrence. And the westbound Garter remains busy DVP to west of Jameson. Two issues affecting the eastbound 403. First in Hamilton, east of the Link, as you head down the Ancaster Hill, the left lane is blocked and it's jammed solid from east of Wilson to east of the Link, where the problem is. And then eastbound 403 in Mississauga from Eglinton to the 401 Express. Right lane is blocked for construction, so that's causing a jam up too. Switch your mortgage to Alterna Savings with rates starting as low as 2.19% APR. You get a mortgage that fits your budget. Limited time offer. Visit alterna.ca to book an appointment and see terms and conditions. Your next report at 7:41, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsa. High.
Mainly cloudy overnight tonight. Winds easing, although we're down to a low of 1 degree, and we'll still have a slight wind chill of -2 if you have to head out early in the morning. Now it's overcast. Don't expect any sun tomorrow. We've even got some rain through the middle of the day, a few millimeters worth with a high of 8 degrees. Tonight we're dropping to a low of 1 degree.
Right now in downtown Toronto, partly cloudy, 4 degrees, feeling like -1. 680 News Time, 7:33.
4 degrees.
Video now shows the scene inside a Halloween party in the annex where 5 people were stabbed. The chaos playing out both inside and outside the frat house near Bloor and Spadina.
680's Casey Taylor joining us live now with the latest. Casey.
Scott, it was a full house, all in costume, drinking, the crowd even lining the staircase. The video obtained by the Toronto Sun showing the moments after 2 people were apparently stopped at the door before forcing their way in, then fighting, the pair being forced toward the door, then this. The one suspect shown switchblade in hand being pushed toward the door, randomly swinging around the knife. The 5 people injured, one of them suffering life-threatening injuries. 19-year-old Jacob Alves and a young girl just 15 years old from Richmond Hill now facing a handful of charges, including aggravated assault, assault with a weapon, and attempted murder. Reporting live, Casey Taylor, 680 News.
680 News Time, 7:35. If New York can support 2 professional hockey teams, why not Toronto? So thinking of an investment group pitching a $5 billion entertainment complex with a huge arena near Shepherd and the Allen. 680's Mark Douglas joins us from City Hall with the latest.
Who the fuck in their right mind would cheer for 2 Toronto hockey
I'll see
teams?
the first Toronto versus Toronto Stanley Cup final.
Andrew
Oh,
Lopez
yeah,
from
that's-
Toronto
we'd still
Legacy
find a way to
has been
fucking
trying
lose,
for
eh?
years to make it happen. Now he'll be making a new pitch to the NHL. He and his investors promised to build the biggest hockey arena in the world. And if he gets his NHL team, the Toronto Legacy Aces, there will also be a women's pro hockey team skating in that arena. And to overcome any resistance from the Leafs organization,
75% majority vote. So the Leafs and 7 other teams vote against us, and it doesn't matter.
however, his group has yet to purchase any land for any of this. At City Hall, I'm Mark Douglas.
680 News Time, 7:35. Public elementary teachers and education workers in Ontario voting 98% in favor of a strike should it become necessary. The Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario saying there has been no meaningful progress in its talks with the province. Union President Sam Hammond is calling the result of the vote an overwhelming mandate from ETFO's 83,000 members.
It is a historic strike vote for ETFO as the largest teachers union in Canada.
Hammond wouldn't lay out a timeline for a possible work stoppage, and the union says a number of conditions must be met before it's in a legal strike position.
It appears the financial struggles for the federal NDP continue. The party's election spending drastically outpaced its fundraising, and more than 100 candidates won't be receiving campaign reimbursements. 680's parliamentary reporter Cormac McSweeney joins us with more.
The numbers don't look great. The NDP's national director tells the Huffington Post the party spent roughly $11 million during the 40-day race, but only received $4.6 million in donations both during the writ and the months leading up to it. On top of that shortfall, 103 candidates failed to meet the threshold to receive partial taxpayer reimbursements for campaign expenses.
The party is dripping red.
David Terrace, a political scientist at Mount Royal University, tells me the financial strains will handcuff the New Democrats in this minority parliament.
They don't have the capacity to defeat a government because they don't have the capacity to fight an election.
The NDP started the year in the red and already took out a mortgage on its party headquarters. Terrace says it'll take a long time to refill the war chest. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
A mortgage on a campaign headquarters. What the fuck bank's backing that up?
Halloween candy. Jennifer Clark with the RCMP saying their kid was among 8 who may have had their loot contaminated.
We'll be continuing to look into
Yeah,
how this could
sure.
happen. We've got the post up on social media, which we hope might help to identify where that might have come from. So we're monitoring, we're digging into it, and trying to figure it all out.
The parent told police it was unclear which neighborhood the package may have come from.
Yep, it's that time of the year. Clocks are ticking toward the end of daylight saving time early Sunday morning. Many sleep scientists and circadian biologists are pushing for a permanent daylight saving ban because of potential ill effects on your health. Sleep researchers
ban it. You can't just stop doing it. We're going to ban it.
To deal with less daylight beginning next week.
Get light as much as you can during the morning hours, even just a little bit later. Maintain a regular sleep-wake schedule, including a regular, exercise and just physical activity schedule, and don't eat too close to bedtime.
And in Scandinavia, research shows the springtime start of daylight saving time there may be more harmful, linking it with more car accidents, heart attacks, and other health problems.
680 News Time, 7:38. Paramedics, firefighters, and police will take over Union Station late Saturday night in what's being dubbed the largest joint emergency exercise ever at the busiest transit hub in our country. 680 Charlene Close reports
That doesn't sound like a good idea to me.
Not to call 911.
To say this is a big emergency exercise is an understatement.
This is going to be an emergency exercise on steroids.
Anne Marie Akins with Metrolinx tells me it will look like the real thing and will probably shock some people.
You might see people
You're
that
telling
are
us now.
volunteer actors pretending to be casualties, fully made up in makeup. They might see smoke on the platform. So they're going to see a lot of things that might
could make this up.
might disturb them.
All Go Transit bus and train, Up Express, Via, and TTC services will operate as usual. There will be some temporary road and sidewalk closures. The entire exercise is set to wrap up by 3 Sunday morning. I'm Charlene Close. And coming up in 30 seconds, we'll take a look at your weekend gas prices.
Hey, you're that famous actress. You must travel so much. What's the best site for hotel deals? Hilton.com. No. One with crazy savings. Hilton.com. With their price match guarantee, if you find a better rate, they match it and take 25% off. No, one with lots of options. Hilton.com has 16 top hotel brands. Hampton, Hilton Garden Inn, Waldorf Astoria, Hilton.com. You should totally do their commercial. Expect better. Expect Hilton. Your
Third shooting in 2 days spurs call for action. After 5 teens injured, is this the same one? Hold on. Oh, I'm not reading all this. We did this yesterday. After 5 teens injured in single incident, police chief extends anti-violence initiative. Bloodstains were still scattered across an apartment hallway Thursday morning, hours after a brazen shooting that sent 5 teenagers to hospital and left community members calling for help with increasing gun violence. What the fuck is this? The weekend, November 1st to 3rd. So Thursday. Fuck. Police tape still hung outside the building, one of a cluster of low-rises on Clearview Heights Road in the Black Creek Western Road area, while numerous bullet holes pierced windows and inside walls. The 5 teens all needed medical attention after the attack. An 18-year-old boy, 17-year-old girl, 16-year-old girl, and 16-year-old boy were taken for treatment, while another 16-year-old boy went to Tutu Hospital on his own. Tutu Hospital, okay. According to police. Police said about 20 shell casings from the guns were found at the scene, a result of 3 suspects, teens or men in their early 20s, clad in black clothing with hoodies, entering the building through the side door at about 7 p.m. on Wednesday and opening fire on a group of young people who were standing in the hallway. No guns were recovered. The shocking attack was one of 3 shootings that rocked the area over 48 hours. Yeah, okay, so I might be getting confused here with all these shootings. My biggest concern right now is that there are 3 people right now that have no issues shooting firearms in the city of Toronto. Toronto Police Chief Mark Saunders said at the scene Wednesday, noting the number of shootings this year is unprecedented. Yeah. We're actively doing our part and making the apprehensions. Except in this case, right? On Thursday, Saunders announced an extension to Project Community Space. What a stupid name. Sounds like a park bench in the middle of an alleyway. A $4.5 million anti-gun violence initiative launched in the summer to address street gang activity. The project, which was supposed to end this week, will be prolonged until further notice. It's supposed to end this week because I think we read this a couple weeks ago that they just started this out of the blue. Quote, we are experiencing the highest number of shootings recorded to date in Toronto, a total of 237 this year, where someone has been injured or killed. We will keep the extended resources in place at this time, Saunders said in a statement. Some in the area are looking for further action. Councillor Francis Nunziata, Ward 5, York Southweston, in which all 3 shootings took place, said, quote, the status quo cannot continue. Over the past 3 days, we have had 3 shooting incidents in the community, leaving 8 people suffering from gunshot wounds. I said 2 days a second ago. Nunziata said in a statement Thursday, I have been mobilizing additional resources to support youth in the community and to provide them with greater opportunities for success, but the city must do more to curb the violence in our communities. Can you stop people from fucking picking on kids for no good reason? Can you do that? Area MPP Faisal Hassan, not to be confused with Faisal Hussein, who raised the issue of gun violence, that's ironic, gun violence in the legislature Thursday, called on the provincial government to invest in initiatives that help keep people out of gangs and to examine the ban on handgun sales. The ban, which hasn't gone into place yet, but the ban, a ban, whatever. Quote, the people in our community, especially the youth, have been neglected for too long, and we can't afford to wait any longer for proactive measures to address the violence. This is a matter of life and death, he said in a statement. The Clearview Heights shooting left local residents rattled. It's very unfortunate because they are just very young, said Katabi Kid, a resident in the same building for nearly a year, who said she was not home when the shooting happened. Kids just want to be kids, play around, go to the gym or store to get candies and come back safe. Now everybody's kind of watching out. Fucking Big Stretch, Fruitown Brim said the same thing. They rob all the stores and now there's no candy stores, so the kids have nowhere to go, and it's broken window theory. She described the neighborhood as, quote, family friendly, with people meeting up for barbecues in the summer and hanging outside when the weather is good. When the weather is good. It's 4 feeling like -1 right now. As a parent of an 18-year-old son, Kid said a shooting like this should change how the community approaches safety issues. Rules should be tightened about gun ownership everywhere. And if we're up to her, even the law enforcement officers should have to leave the guns behind and only use tasers. Guns should just go. I think kids see that everywhere and want to be in on the action, she said. It's very scary. Why did you waste 3 inches of fucking columns on what her fucking opinion is? That there's no basis in reality for that. Tim Mugali, 45, a longtime resident of a nearby building, said his heart, quote, jumped when he heard gunshots and he could barely sleep all night long. I don't understand how these kids are getting their hands on guns, he said. Who said it was kids? They said they were in their 20s. It's kids that got shot. That's 2 different people blaming the kids for getting shot. 2 different people said the kids had guns. That's fucked up. That is fucked up. Gun violence has hit the part. Gun violence has hit the part of the city hard this week. Around 9:30 a.m. Thursday, a 29-year-old man was shot in a parking lot near Jane Street and Harding Avenue, north of Trethewey Drive, about a 5-minute drive from where the teens were shot. Police reported that several shots were heard and say people in the area saw 3 men wearing dark clothes fleeing east afterward. And earlier Wednesday morning, 2 gunmen fired into a Weston home, critically injuring a woman, while a senior was also shot in the leg. Multiple bullet holes went through the window and door of the multi-unit house near Weston Road and Church Street. I know we're supposed to feel safe in Canada, but as a single mom, I don't feel safe living here right now, said Nicole Alexander, a resident of the home, as she pointed to bullet holes that went through the door and hit the inside wall just above her 9-year-old daughter's bicycle. If she had been here picking up her bike or something, I don't even want to think about what could have happened. And I do believe I read about gunmen fire into home, critically injuring woman. It's right there, so I read that already. So we're not reading that one right now. Shit. Don't knock the phone over.